come here as somebody who shares an experience and a history with Kenneth Matiba. I went to the same school, Alliance High School. I am an Anglican. I don't know whether the bishop would know that, but I'm an Anglican. But I'm not as a good Anglican as Bishop, as Matiba. And I want to say this, and I'm glad that the top leadership of this country is here. Time has come that every Kenyan man and woman, we should decide, in the words of the Constitution, with the people. And those words, by the way, probably are from Matiba, let us the people decide, with the people. Let us together build one country called Kenya. I always find it disappointing that we are more united when there's a funeral. We are united in death. But when it comes to politics, brother against brother, community against community. So I hope with this new dispensation that we are going through, we should be able to bury tribalism and Kenya becomes one indivisible nation. You know, when you are a patriot like Matiba, even the words you speak in Kikuyu find resonance in other languages. Like when you say Kuganaguika. The Luos also say Wachogitimo. Just 3 words, Kuganaguika, Wachogitimo. And then he says, onward ever, forward ever, backward never. And in Luo we say, Ongeringo. So the language of Matiba is a national language for everybody to build one country called Kenya under one constitution and under one law. Finally, I hope that we shall follow the footsteps of Kenneth Njindo Matiba, and we as politicians get together and talk the language of peace and unity, the language of bringing people together, and the language that would enable us work for Kenyans together without calling each other's names which we cannot repeat to ourselves in private. I therefore mourn with you and hope that Matiba will rest in peace, but the family, we are with you, we're in solidarity with you. This morning, as I was coming here, I was reading a letter that Mandela wrote to his wife sometimes in '69 when he was in prison. And he was talking about a commander of an African army in the 17th century who went with his men and his son to hunt for game. His son was killed by a lion, and the commander was mauled by a lion. To treat his wounds, they had to use a red-hot spear. And when he was asked what he felt when he was breathing in pain, he said, it is not the visible pain, it is the invisible pain. There's invisible pain that we have caused this family that I'm hoping, and I'm not asking the president, I think we as leaders, all of us, one of these days, if you are really truthful and honest to God, apologize to the Matiba family because there's not enough, and apologize to Edith, who has had this pain for more than 30 years. And together, because the people who actually made Matiba die in prison, they're alive, they are here. Let them be found because they are still alive. I know at least one. And those people must be dealt with perpendicular. I thank you. God bless.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I want to confirm that indeed, Mr. Orengo was my sponsor when I was at the university, when I was vying for SONU. He gave me some posters. As I invite, yes, before I invite my friend here, I want Nimtume, Uko Salam. There's something that Orengo has said, leader, that you need to emphasize. we people of Muranga, we will forgive the people who did what kwa Matiba, isn't it? But we must never forget, isn't it? Hata hawajaomba msamaha. Na motikariganero mwana wa Ngai akunyagatake. Kwa hivyo nituramamenya andu acio. So karibu, asanti, tumpigie makofi leader majority.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, Your Excellency Deputy President, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, former Prime Minister, the family of Kenneth Standing Jindo Matiba, led by Mama Edith, and the all children and the family members, Susan, Raymond, and the rest of the brothers and sisters. Leaders present and the people of Muranga, good afternoon. I will not say much because when Kenneth Standing Jindo Matiba was actually fighting for second liberation, I was a toddler. So I have no benefit of my colleague James Orengo, who at least was with him at that point in time. But there is something I want to say, that in most cases, for my short period in politics, I have learned that a lot is said about us politicians, and little is said about the families, the wife, the children, our mothers, our fathers, the immediate families that go through suffering because of that. But there is a word of encouragement I want to share with you that I learned in Sunday school. In the book of Romans chapter 5, verses 3, 4 up to 5. That says that we will receive glory in our suffering, because suffering breeds perseverance, and perseverance leads to character, and character leads to hope. And in Romans 5:5 it says that hope does not disappoint. And I believe that in the hope that Honorable Matiba had, both in God and in this country, that hope has not disappointed. That is the reason why all of us are standing here. That is the reason all of us have had an opportunity to be proud of a country called Kenya, because there are people that went through suffering and who had character and people who had hope. And I know Bishop had talked here about us leaders and said that we have fallen short of God's glory in our behavior, in our character. But Bishop, you know, leaders suffer a lot out there. We go through a lot out there. And it is true that in Romans 5:8, in the same continuation of that chapter, it says that, you know, Christ showed us his love. For when we were still sinners, he died for us. I know it's important to emphasize what Bishop said, but Bishop, sometimes also when we arrive here, at that very moment when we are down, we want somebody to tell us, still God loves you, and keep on, be strong, move on, and you will find your character in God. And that is really what I think all leaders who are here. And I want to agree with those who are saying that it's not right to come and celebrate people when they have only died. I think it's important to whisper that word of encouragement to that person that you believe that is a person of who is in leadership, it's a person who has contributed to the betterment of this country. And I pledge, and I say that we may not have the opportunity as leaders, as young leaders of my age, to fight for multipartyism or to sacrifice in the manner in which Matiba did, but we have a monster of tribalism. We have a monster of corruption. We, in our small way, can also make a contribution of a better Kenya by ensuring that we unite together, unite a country. And I want to thank you, Your Excellency, the President, because I was there when you told us in 2013, when you formed the Jubilee Coalition. I was the lawyer there when you came and said, this coalition is not about winning elections. It's about uniting Kenya. That point in time, I never believed you would come together with Deputy President to form a coalition. It was almost like impossible, because those of us who were in the Secretariat of URP were trying, the Deputy President was trying to tell some people, you know, we can unite with Uhuru Kenyatta, and the political environment that time was so volatile. People even who are on the other side of politics were telling us, it's not possible for you to go and unite with Kikuyus. You can't support a Kikuyu president. But there's one thing I saw. You made a sacrifice with the Deputy President and said, for whatever it takes, we are going to unite this country, whether we win the presidency or not. And I'm happy you won. You have continued that journey of uniting the country. You have even taken it to step 2 by uniting with the former Prime Minister to now culminate that unity that you started 2013. That is the nation we believe in. We support you. We will stand behind you. We will stand by all means to ensure that this country is united to be a one nation, so that never again will any young person who wants to be president of the Republic of Kenya will have to first account for the numbers of the tribe that he comes from, so that every person who is pursuing leadership will only see his character. We will only focus on his abilities and the character of that person. I bring the condolences of my Speaker, the Speaker of the Senate, and on behalf of Parliament and my colleagues in Parliament who are in leadership, we want to say that we celebrate Matiba's family and we celebrate Honorable Matiba. And as Parliament, we want to continue emulating what he did, including the sports he supported and playing football like he did. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Asante sana.
Thank you, Senator Murkomen. Your Excellency, now I want to call upon the CS Macharia so that he can also recognize. And as the CS come, might be Murkomen, the song you should have sung to the bishop, because of the many temptations the leaders are facing, is this song that says, Vumilia roho yangu, majaribu ni kama moto, unaochoma imani yangu, Bwana naomba. Karibu sana CS.
Thank you very much, Mama County. Our bishops present today, the family of the late Kenneth Matiba, Excellencies, the President, Excellency, Deputy President, Right Honorable former Prime Minister, and governors present. Excellency, I think earlier on the CSs were introduced, but it wasn't done properly. I think they were actually referred to as permanent secretaries. So allow me, Excellency, to request them to stand once again so they can be properly introduced. I can see CS Mwagi Kyojori, CS for Agriculture. I can see CS Peter Munya, former governor and now CS East African Community. I saw CS Eugene Wamarwa, CS for Devolution. Is there another CS in this congregation? Excellency, also allow me to introduce the committee in government, which took a lot of time in working with the family of the late Matiba to make sure we had a decent send-off for our late hero. Let me introduce the chair of that committee, Dr. Kenyua, who is the head of public service. Let me introduce PS Kibicho, who is with us. Let me introduce PAS, Principal Administrative Secretary, Kihara, the Cabinet Office. Anybody else in this congregation who was a committee member? Thank you. Excellency, mine is very brief. And having come from this county, I think to us, all we can say is that we are very inspired by the life of the late Kenneth Matiba. Some of us are here today because as you reflect the history, we were inspired. I remember very well that when Kenneth Matiba was entering parliamentary politics, we were heading to university. In 1979, they had an epic battle. At that time, they called it Titanic Battle between himself and the late Dr. Keano. And it's because, like has been said, the late Kenneth Matiba was looking for challenges. He never shied away from challenges. And so even when he was entering the political arena, he could have gone for easier challenges, but he went for a very formidable challenger in the name of Dr. Kiano. And so with that, Excellency, we feel that we are inspired in our lives. I know also because of his character, he has inculcated that character to his children. I know 10 years ago, when the business was facing challenges, the family came to us. I was in the banking sector that time. They did not run away from responsibility. Raymond, representing the family, came to us and said, we have this issue, and we'd like to discuss and reason together. Other borrowers, they ran away from banks. But Raymond, representing the family, they came forward to the bank I was working for. And we are glad to know that we had a solution, we had an amicable solution. And this is the character which we can see in the Matiba family. And this is a character which we like to see in the new generations. This is a character we like to see in the future generations. And so with that, Excellency, we like to see, even as leaders from Muranga, those in executive, those in the county government, those in National Assembly, those in the Senate, emulating our heroes of the past. Because one thing we are blessed with in this county is to have icons, national icons, who came from this county. You've heard of Kenneth Matiba, you've heard of Charles Rubia, Dr. Kiano, we had John Michuki, and I dare say, we also have the First Lady coming from here. My prayer is that we should not let down these icons who came from this county. We should never let them down by not following the ideals and the values for which they stood for. And so, Excellency, with that, I wish the family best wishes, and may Mzee Matiba rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CS, Your Excellency the President, Your Excellency the Deputy President. I want to now call upon the Governor, but before I sit, I want to tell Mama that we are standing with you. I know in January we had a conversation with you and Mzee, and we agreed you are going to add a little bit of some weight. So, Mom, I know God is on your side, and I know you have a strong team with Raymond and the brothers and the brother and the sisters, and we are praying for you. I want to leave with you words of Isaiah 40:29, that God who stands with the weary will stand with you. To Raymond, remember now, you are the head of the family. Stand with Mom and support Mom. Your Excellency, we also request kindly that Raymond should also get somewhere so that now he stands with the family stronger. And finally, as I finish, I want to say this. There are things that you don't forget. Never forget those people who are with you at the difficult times. And also, never forget those people who left you at the difficult times. And also, never forget those people who put you in those difficult times. I want now to call upon the Governor of Muranga County to come and address and also introduce other governors. And after that, you'll invite the Deputy President. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. God is good, and all the time. I know quite well that we are pressed of time, and I'll try to go as fast as possible. Mama Susan and Matiba's family, Your Excellency the President, our Deputy President, and our former Prime Minister, I want to take this opportunity, first of all, to welcome all of you to Muranga County. And I want to particularly also introduce the governors who came to mourn together with us from other counties. It would have been many, but there's a devolution conference which is ongoing, and I think they really took, they went out of their way to be with us. Just an introduction, Governor Kisumu, our friend Governor Anyang Nyong, Kaidrewev, Karibu sana, Governor, for visiting us. Governor Mombasa, our good friend, Governor Hassan Joho. Governor Nairobi, our good friend, Governor Sonko. Governor Kiambu, our glad friend, Babayao Waitito. And Governor Melu, Governor Kilaitu Murungi. But on behalf of those governors, I want to allow Governor Kilaitu, only 1 minute, Governor Kilaitu. He was a fella in the struggle with Ken. So, Governor Kilaitu, just a moment.
Thank you very much. His Excellency the President, His Excellency the Deputy President, the Right Honorable former Prime Minister, fellow monarchs, in the interest of time, allow me to